One thing about this world that really just, frankly, kind of annoys me is I feel like everything and everyone is kind of like a contradiction. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I mean is, it seems like everybody is basically, and I'm guilty of this too. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm guilty of that. We all do it. We all do it. So if I'm gonna be, you know, honest, I gotta be fully honest here about this. But I feel like everybody is just projecting their projections, or they're basically projecting their perception of other people onto other people. Meaning, like, how they see you is how they basically try to convince you that how they see you is how and who you actually are as a person. I made a video the other day basically mentioning that statement, but this is why, I'm learning more and more how to just, you know who I am and just kind of live in that no matter what people, think about who I am or um who I'm being or who I choose to be, you know. And for example, like, this is what I'm saying. I always hear people say things like, um, you're trying to be somebody that you're not, or you're trying to be something that you're not. And it's like, and I started to really break that down. And I said, now, what does that even really mean? If I see somebody, right, let's say I see somebody doing something or into something, and I look at them and I'll make the assumption, or I'll have this thought in my mind that that person doesn't look like something that person would or should or can even do. You know what I'm saying? So I have this idea in my mind, I have this idea or thought in my head. I have this perception or projection of someone that I'm seeing doing something, and I'm thinking to myself that that doesn't look like something that that person will be good at or can do. So now I go out of my head and I might make the assumption of, by you doing that, you're trying to do something or be something that you're not. I hear a lot of people say stuff like this, and I never really understood it because whenever I hear somebody say something like, you're trying to do or be something that you're not, or that's just not you, um, I think, because I've had people say these kind of things to me before too. And I just think to myself, like, well, if you're telling me that what I'm doing is me, that I'm not being myself, or I'm trying to be something that I'm not, what would me being myself or doing something that's me look like to you? So, by your own reasoning or way of looking at things, if I were to stop doing what I was doing in the way that I was doing it, because according to you, that's not me, or I'm trying to be or do something that I'm not, then I'm literally stopping what I'm actually doing and then saying, let me change myself to be whatever you think me being me would look like. You get what I'm saying? So in other words, if I stop what I'm doing or change what I'm doing in any kind of way because somebody thinks that, oh, I'm trying to do or be something that I'm not, then you literally are doing that. This is why, this is why I don't really change much about what I do. I know that people judge a lot of the things that I do. Um, People, as they do with a lot of other people, but I just don't really care anymore because the way I look at it is, what, what the fuck does your perception of me have to do with anything? All these ideas of people that people have, they're just ideas. It doesn't become real until I accept your perception of me and then I alter myself to fit your perception of me. If I alter myself to fit your perception or projection of who you think I am or how I should be or what I am or what I'm not, then I'm being something other than what I actually am. See, people don't think about this stuff. People just say these kind of things and they never really truly think about what they're saying. If anybody in any kind of way changes, how they do things, no matter how mediocre or, you know, negative or positive it may be perceived by other people. And this is what I'm really learning. And I'm really having to learn how to be this way because it's such a subtle thing. And the people that say these things, a lot of them, you know, they, they kind of say these things in a way as if they have some kind of authority to tell you, you know, either way, if, you're being a way that you really genuinely, authentically are. And I'm like, first of all, I really used to care about this stuff, but I started to realize, like, why should I have to prove that I am who I am? Why should I have to prove to anybody or explain myself why I do what I do, or this is really me, or whatever the case may be? When these people basically they're choosing to see you in a certain way, because then think about this: if you change the way you do things or what you do or how you do it, then they're going to say, oh well, see, it wasn't really you because you changed you changed this. You know what I'm saying? If you keep doing what you're doing, how you're doing it, then they're going to say that, oh, you're just trying to be something that you're not. You know what I'm saying? This is what I've learned in real. I observe people a whole lot, and I mean everybody does this. Everybody judges people. Everybody creates a mental construct of everyone around them, and then they treat that person based off of how they choose to see them in their mind. And when it's like when you don't adapt to that construct of the version that in their mind that they create of you, then they kind of get upset or they'll say something like, "Oh, you're trying to be something that you're not," and it's like it's like because I'm not that, and it's just like you know when you don't just pretty much like alter who you are to fit someone's perception of you in their mind. um People don't like that because you're supposed to basically fit, you know, their idea of who they claim that you are. And it's just crazy because, like, everybody does it. You know, everybody's kind of projecting their perception of people around them onto them, and my thing is, one thing I realize is um, there is no uh, ultimate truth, except for well, I'll say there is no absolute truth except for the absolute. And the absolute in itself is something that is undefinable. Um, but the closest thing to truth is, what I would consider to be the source of all existence, or, um, the absolute. And even that itself is not truly a defined thing, or truly, in my opinion, it's not a completely knowable thing. but it is a truth unto itself. It is an absolute truth unto itself. So yeah, I believe that truth is subjective, and you know, ultimately there really is no, you know, right or wrong way of seeing things. I feel like everybody is just kind of, and that's, to me, that's like the chaos. That's the truth of existence. Everything is just chaos, you know. Just because somebody is, you know, telling you that they see you in a certain way, a lot of us mess up when we kind of change ourselves to fit someone's perception of us, because someone believes us to be someone that we don't believe ourselves to be. And this is why I really feel like it's important to know who you are and to not let somebody convince you that you're someone other than who you know yourself to be. Because everybody's trying to get other people to fit into their version of reality. And in their version of reality, there is a different version of you that they have created, you know, that you know, makes them more comfortable or makes them feel more powerful or makes them feel more strong, you know, in their reality, instead of being a strong, secure version of yourself. Oh no, you're this insecure person, you know, um, instead of being someone that has strong, you know, respect for himself, you just allow anything, you know. And this is why I'm just really careful about whenever I interact with people, whenever they try to convince me or, you know, of anything less than what I consciously am choosing to be for myself, you know. Anytime somebody's trying to make me feel like I'm less than them or trying to project a negative, what I consider to be a negative version of myself onto me, um, and trying to convince me that that is what I am. I say, why are you trying so hard to make me feel bad about myself? And then whenever they say it, it's like, oh no, I'm just being honest about this and that. I'm like, no, but if I'm doing everything that I can to live above, you know, all of those negative things about myself, why are you steady trying to convince me that I'm less than what I'm aspiring to be? You know, in other words, if I'm doing my best to stay away from the version of me that is insecure, that looks down on himself, that doesn't feel confident, that, you know, just sees themselves in a less than desirable way. If I'm doing everything that I can to not be that version of myself, why are you telling me everything to remind me to stay that version or to be that version? You know what I'm saying? And that, man, one thing I realized, man, is there's people that call themselves spiritual that do these kind of things a lot. Is what I'm paying attention to. Like when I say like everything about this realm and this world is kind of designed in a way to pull you away from your natural source self, because everybody's trying to get you to be something other than what you naturally are, you know. And it happens when we're born. As soon as we're born, you know, I understand that there's things that, you know, you have to have certain boundaries as far as, you know, when it comes to safety and survival and stuff like that. But I mean, the moment that we're born, we start school, our natural behavior and interests and, you know, passions are basically altered and, you know, changed when people start judging us and teasing us. All these things start to take away from our, you know, natural infinite source self that naturally kind of um um is just uniquely genuine for each and every, you know, spark or soul or spirit, whatever you want to call it. You know, all of that is kind of edited by societal norms and, the people around us, schools and jobs and stuff like that. It's all, and then by the time you get to be a teenager or adult, there's just like this kind of carbon copy of, source energy that's kind of got this layer over it that's covering up the, true expression of infinite consciousness, expressing itself as it naturally does. It's now expressing itself as more of like a carbon copy of what, you know, society says is okay or normal or practical or responsible or stable or you know all the things that people say, and I'm done with it all. you know I'm done with it all. I'm free of it. I'm learning to do it more and more, and it's such an amazing feeling. And I mean, this goes into my dating life, to my finances. Like, one thing that I'm learning, because I'm trying to start this business, but I'm trying to start this business up. But one thing I'm learning is, man, it's going to be a lot of trial and error. It's going to take time either way. But one thing that I am realizing is it's not always about making more money. It's about finding ways to not put out money that you have. You know, it's not about always making more money, because if you're making more money, if you work, if you're making more money, a lot of times that means you have less energy, mental energy, creative energy to actually manifest the life you want. Now you have to have a job. You have to find some way to generate some level of income. But once you start going in and getting 2 and 3 and 4 jobs and working 7 days a week and overtime, like I said, everybody has their own way. Everybody has their own way. I'm not saying that either way is right or wrong, but for me, once I start working, 2, 3, 7 days a week, it's just like you have nothing left to pour into yourself and your own creative vision. You know what I'm saying? But for some people, that works. But for me, it doesn't really work unless I have an exact thing that I'm going to do with this money. And for another thing, too, like, if you're going to work like that, it has, for me at least, it has to be a huge increase of income. If you're just making like an extra, if you're working like 2 and 3 jobs and you're just making like an extra 300 or 400 bucks a month, it's like that's not really enough to the level of exhaustion you're probably having or getting. You're probably not getting much sleep. You're probably, just, I mean, it's more, but is it really making that much of a difference? Because this is what I was doing. I was working like 2 jobs, then door dashing, and I was just worn the fuck out. And I looked up, and it's like I really wasn't making as much as I was putting out energetically. It wasn't being reciprocated in my life. So I'm like, why am I working this hard just to damn near be in the same place? You know, like I said, some people may have to. Depending on your situation, you got kids, you got a family. That's understandable. I get it. You gotta do what you gotta do. But for me, I'm single, no kids, no family. I just feel like for me, I'm just simplifying. I'm paying off my debts and stuff like that. And it's longer. I'm not. Like I said, for me, it's not always about making more money. It's just about finding ways to save money or not have to put out so much money in bills and stuff like that. Like, for example, like I just paid my truck off, my car is paid off, um, and my camper. Like the only thing I'm paying on right now is my camper, and I'm paying extra on that to get the payments down super low. So like the only thing I really want to have is a super low camper payment, and if I trade that in for like a Class C, because I do plan on doing that soon. I just want to have a super low Class C payment, and I don't have any plans on getting a home or an apartment soon because I feel like it's a waste of money. And the vehicles that I do have, as long as like the engine in them, stays strong and the transmission stays strong, I'm just going to keep those vehicles. I'm going to probably go to the junkyard, get a new bumper, and then paint my car, do maintenance on it, and then my truck. Well, depending on what I do, okay. So I'm going to keep my truck, maintenance it while I have it, but eventually I'm going to probably just sell that or trade that in because really I only want my car and my Class C camper. So and I really won't even be drive my car like that. So so yeah, I just pay my truck off. I'm paying less in insurance. I don't have a, you know what I'm saying? It's just, so really, I don't really have much of any bills right now. I don't make a whole lot, but the fact that, I don't really have a lot of bills right now, and I live simply is what is gonna, what is gonna be my vehicle into being able to do more things that I like travel and just, you know, just, just travel more, you know what I'm saying? And the rest I'll just figure out as I go. But yeah, man, I kind of got off topic a little bit, but um, like I said, it's not about making lots and lots of money. It's just about finding ways to not have to, you know, spend that money and put it out on stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, like for a while, I was like, man, I feel kind of embarrassed to my car sometimes because it's not a nice car. The paint's starting to chip on it. It's just it doesn't look when I got it. It looked a lot better, but I had a wreck in it. So, but now I'm just like, you know what, man? I'm gonna drive that rust bucket till the fucking wheels fall off because at the end of the day, man, I'm really not out here trying to impress nobody. I'm gonna do some work to it, some work to it. I want to get it repainted and get it maintenance, and just cheap stuff, and just ride it till the wheels fall off, man. And just, I mean, because it's just like, why do I need to go out and get a brand new car? And I was already approved for like a really, really nice truck, a Dodge Ram V8 diesel. But I'm just like, I can go out here and get this new truck, have these super, super high payments, have these super, super high insurance, and then put money out on that thing. And then I'll look, I'll have a nice car, I'll probably look better in it, but I won't be having as much money. I won't be able to save, but I sure will look good. I sure will look good in that nice truck, and I probably will look good in it. But it's just like, does it really matter though? Like right now, do I really need a $500 truck payment along with another 400 and something dollar insurance payment? Do I really need that right now? Is it really necessary? It's really not. It's really not. So yeah, man, I'm just like trying to keep it simple. Trying to, build my business and really just find ways to find more freedom. Because like I said, I'm at a point in my life now where, man, I ain't trying to impress somebody, man. I'm not, I mean, like I said, I feel like all that stuff, once you learn how to just adapt and, naturally spend less, you'll be able to get things like that easier at the right time. I'm not really worried about it right now. I'm not trying to impress no women, with a nice car. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. I'm going to keep my money and live simpler, and eventually I'll be in a position where, if I want things like that and when I want them, when I do get them, it's not nowhere near as much of a financial strain as it would be, you know, as it would be like right now if I got it, So I say, drive that rust bucket till the wheels fall off. If your parents allow you to, or your family allows you to, stay at home, stay on your parents' land. You know what I'm saying? Uh, give them some money here and there to help out. Contribute to the house or to the family. But like, going out here and getting like, $2,000 rent and mortgages. When you don't, if you don't really, if you have to, you have to. Everybody's in a different situation. But if you don't have to, like moving out here and getting a that super, super nice apartment or house is great. If you have the means and it's not a financial burden, cool, fine. But if by staying in a simple living situation, or living with somebody or living at home, man, if I would have had the kind of parents where, you know, they allowed me to stay at home and I give them a little bit of money each month, maybe 400 or 500 bucks, you know what I'm saying, something like that, just to live at home, man. Listen, when I was younger, I knew what I know now, man. If you have a little girlfriend or something like that, listen, the money you saving, if y'all want to do what y'all do, y'all can go to a hotel or something. You know what I'm saying? Because it's disrespectful to bring your girl to your parents' house if you got one. But if it's that serious, like, listen, we can go to a hotel or get an Airbnb for a few days or something like that if it's that serious. But the money I'm saving, like, heck no, I'm not getting no house right now. For what? And then, like, relationships now, man, nowadays, they don't last. So you make all these changes and so you can, have a girl stay with you or stay with her, and then y'all break up in like, a week or a month. And you don't spend all this money. You know what I'm saying? No, man, fuck that. I'm gonna get my money right. I'm gonna get my bag right, and I'm gonna save this money, and I'm gonna create the life that I want, living simply and living, I call it, or they say, a minimalist lifestyle, because those are the people that are able to live and create the lives that they want. Everybody out here that's, young and trying to get these, big houses and apartments and cars and stuff, man. See, we were taught to do that. We weren't taught to live simply until we're able to easily do that. My thing is, I feel like I shouldn't be buying that kind of stuff unless it's extremely easy in the sense of it's not even a financial burden at all. You know what I'm saying? If you struggling to drive around in that nice truck or have that big house or apartment or whatever little toys you got, if that's a struggle on you, then you look nice. You looking nice. But then when your girl come around, she want to go out here and go travel here and there, I can't do it. I got to pay my car rent. I got to pay my insurance. Well, I thought you had this nice car. I thought you had this big house. But that means you had money. Like, nah, that was just to attract you. That's what I'm saying. That's what it amounts to. When you look the part, but you don't really have it, you're just trying to play the part, like look the part. That's what happens, and that's one thing that I realized too. I can go out here and get the nice truck and nice car, but if I'm not really able to really easily afford those things, it's like it's not even really worth it because it's like once people realize like it just looks like you got it like that, but you don't really have it like that, like the whole reason behind you getting it kind of just becomes kind of pointless, and it becomes just more like a burden on you basically, and then you look kind of dumb. Well, if you couldn't afford it, why'd you buy it? I don't know. I just wanted a nice car. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens. So anyway, I got way off topic, but that's just how I get sometimes when I'm just kind of ranting. But yeah, man, don't let people try to tell you, who you are and stuff like that because, like I said, everybody does this, man. Everybody's doing it. Spiritual people are doing it whenever they say stuff like you're positive or negative or, like I said, if I go and change who I am based off of who someone claims that I am or am not, I guess someone says that I am not being myself or I'm doing something that's not me. If I change whatever I'm doing to fit their perception of who I am, then I'm not being myself. And it's just like I will never understand when someone says, they look at you and they see you in a certain way and they expect you to just basically jump onto their projected version of you based off of their perception of you. And it's like, yeah, well that's I don't believe that. Like I don't believe I'm that person. And it's just like you gotta just be careful because we're all just universes walking around, and depending on what someone says to you, they can actually trick you into becoming a completely different person than what you were originally. And a lot of times you don't realize that it's happening because they'll first cause you to doubt yourself first. and question your own identity. And before you know it, you're falling into someone's projection of you, and you'll forget who you are. You know, where you may have been a free spirit, but now you're just, limited being that's just, insecure and doesn't love himself and doesn't think he deserves what he does deserve, because because someone said something to you or made you feel a certain way that makes you question your value and your self-worth. Now you think you don't deserve shit. Now you think that you just, this lowly being that doesn't deserve love or, affection or romance or any of that awesome great stuff that you get to experience living a human life. You gotta just be careful, man. Anyway, I'm gonna end it here. Until next time, later.